Doors Open, a musical by Mark Teagle. Meet Mel. He's standing in front of the doors of a church. His church.
I've gone through these doors hundreds, probably thousands of times, always without a thought. I came here out of obligation, out of need, out of habit, for celebrations, for mourning, and endless committee meetings. But now I'm not sure if I want to go in. I'm not sure if I can go in. Everything's changed. Or has it? Maybe I'm the one that's changed. Well, the church is where you go for answers, isn't it? When you're searching, when you need help. Isn't there someone I can ask? Maybe get them to pray for me. But again, I'm not so sure anymore. Do I even want those prayers? Before, I'd just go in. And now I stand outside. God, I'm turning into wishy-washy Charlie Brown. Was it just yesterday that my daughter Shauna told me and my life was turned upside down?
Dad, thanks for coming to see me.
Of course. Anything for you, sweetheart. You know that.
Keep that thought. I've decided to tell you something. Something that might be hard for you to hear.
My mind was racing. Was she pregnant or sick? Dying? Or marrying that slob from high school that still hangs around? What could it be?
Dad, I need you to hear this.
I was in tears, wondering how to respond. This wasn't some person in a movie or on a show on cable. This was my daughter, my Shauna, my one and only. And then my mind flashed to other people I knew whose children or nieces and nephews had come out to them. I'd heard their stories, but now it was happening to me.
Understand it all. God, this is hard.
Honey, I don't know what to say.
Say something, please, Dad.
Well, can I give you a hug? I don't understand it, but I'll try.
That's all I can ask.
When you called, I thought it was something terrible like drugs or a bad boyfriend.
Well, no, it's not a boyfriend.
Well, look, nothing changes. You're still precious to me. The fact that you're a
Lesbian?
yeah, that. Just know it doesn't change anything.
I was worried, especially with how church is so important to you.
Church? What do you mean? Church is about loving others and following Jesus.
But haven't you been listening? Some church people say horrible things about gays. That guy on TV, those people marching with the signs, we're all going to hell, by the way.
But, oh, crap. Oh, pardon my French.
That's not French, Dad. And I've heard you say worse.
But you're right about the church stuff. We have that one Sunday school teacher who goes on and on. Romans 1 this, Leviticus this and that. And I didn't really pay attention before. Well, I didn't think I needed to worry about it.
Surprise! But even without me, there are lots of people in your life who are gay. Aunt Elise and her friend Ramona, Billy from across the street, Coach Lynn from the softball team. This all affects them too.
I hadn't thought about that. I guess I'm just too good at ignoring things.
Well, you are a man after all. But I'm glad you reacted the way you did. I was apprehensive. But the church thing is not going to make this easy. I'm going to go and let you digest this. Bye, Dad. I love you.
So I digested. Okay, I stewed. And I read a bunch of stuff on the internet about the issue. Oh, word of advice. Stay away from the comments section. I even found out what my church denomination says officially about gays and lesbians. Oh, hey, look, I can say it now. And, now I'm not sure that I can go through these doors.
There's an old church, it stands on the corner. It's my dear church, I was practically born there. So many cherished memories stored there. Sunday school picnics and times with my daughter. But now that I wait out here by the entry, seems that my heart stands like a sentry. Once a sure place I turned to for sanctuary, now is a place with nothing but angst for me. Doors open and doors shut you out. Doors can divide those inside from those on the out. God, as I stand at the door, help me know what's in store. Do I go in or just walk away from the door?
At that same set of doors to the church stands a woman named Dee. She looks at the sign above the entrance and shakes her head.
Welcome, it says. That's a crock. When was the last time I felt welcome in a place like this? Am I really? Is a person like me, a gay woman, really welcome in a place full of hypocrites? The ones who exclude people like me on a routine basis. What's on the other side of this door for me? We welcome everyone, someone said. Is that really true, or do they just want more people just like them? Straight, white, cisgendered, conservative, with money, pillars of the community, got the right look, the right car, the right views. We love the sinner but hate the sin, they say. We all sin. None are different than any others. Being gay, adultery, murder, lying, cheating on your taxes. Bitch, please. Since when is being born with a different sexuality akin to murdering someone? Do I need to be forgiven for being who I am? I see that look in their eye. Holier than thou, better, different, self-righteous. The Supreme Court says I can get married, but your denomination says not in your church and not by your pastor. I can go to City Hall and get a license, but heaven forbid if I want our wedding to be blessed by God or to say a prayer. So why am I here? I've spent the last 10 years keeping as much distance as I could between me and places like this. But there's something that's calling to me, a hunger to get in touch with that spiritual part of me. Something I had when I was a kid in a church much like this. Maybe church is more than a place for misguided people who say narrow, bigoted things. Maybe it's a place to meet God, to find some answers, or at least some help along the way. Maybe doors that are closed can someday open. Anyway, my friend Shauna said there was a meeting here for people like us, gays, lesbians, bi, trans, queer people, looking for God in a safe place. But do I dare even go through the door?
What of this church? It stands for such hatred, so many painful feelings that I dread. People excluding, judging what I did. Is there some other place I can go instead? But God has me here, despite my intentions. Could there be hope for this empty convention? Sitting and praying to some mindless invention. Can a gay woman indeed find redemption? Doors open and doors shut you out. Doors can divide those inside from those on the out. God, as I stand at the door, help me know what's in store. Do I go in or just walk away from the door?
Doors open and doors shut you out. Doors can divide those inside from those on the out. God, as I stand at the door, help me know what's in store. Do I go in or just walk away from the door?
Churches love their committees, and this church is no different. Longtime members Stan and Val have shown up early to get ready.
Okay, we should have time to get this all set up before the board meeting. We're in the fireside room, right?
That's what the last email said. I think they changed it 3 or 4 times.
We really shouldn't have to stand for this. Getting bumped by the Flower Power and Scented Candle Committee after all.
That's the Altar Guild. Watch what you say. I was chairwoman for 11 wonderful years.
Anyway, tonight's agenda is crucial. We can't let this question go unanswered.
Are you sure this is the right time for all this? Things are fine just the way they are. You're just going to get the congregation all riled up.
You don't know those people like I do. They have an agenda, and they're out to steal our church from us. They're undermining families and traditional values. It's just like when they brought in those blasted guitars and those drums.
But I like the guitars. Well, maybe not the drums so much. And now we have the praise band almost every Sunday. People seem to like the change.
That's not the point. This time they're out to strip the Bible of every moral clause, every rule, every bit of decorum. Next, they'll be teaching our children in Sunday school. You wait and see.
So, what's in the slideshow?
I got every verse in the Bible about those people, and all the important sections of the doctrinal materials, and a very strong statement from a prominent Christian psychologist. People will just have to see it my way.
I've got the concept, proof text, out of context blues. Find out what the word says, what all these verses say is true.
Tell him, Stan.
I lined up all the verses, clobber them with curses, name the shame. I came with blame from a thorough Google search. I feel a bit self-righteous, so what if it's all biased? I've got to stop those dandy fops who want to steal our church.
I got the concept proof text out of context blues. Find out what the word says, what all these verses say is true. Gotta dig, 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 cross-referencing. Now this is big, hear the judgment sing. Join in the concept proof text out of context blues.
Sing it, sister.
You'll thank them all for meeting us and then love them with Leviticus. I'm sure that Paul will then enthrall an open and shut case. We'll soon be rid of the trouble, send them back to their bubble. We'll end this strife, get on with life and living out our faith. I've got the concept proof text out of context blues. Find out what the word says, what all these verses say is true. Gonna dig, 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 cross-referencing. Now this is big, hear the judgment ring. Join in the concept proof text out of context blues.
My views on human sexuality are firmly ingrained in antiquity. If it was good enough for our brother Moses, then it's set in stone, the church supposes. The concept proof text out of context blues. Find out what the word says,
What all those verses say is true. Gotta dig, 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 cross-referencing. Now this is big, hear the judgment sing. Join in the concept proof text out of context blues. The concept proof text.
out of context blues.
You know Amelia's son, the one in Albuquerque? He's gay, a very nice young man.
Oh, they're all nice.
Stopped going to church, though. I wonder why. Well, let's get this stuff inside and get ready for the meeting. Knowing this group, we could be here all night.
Oh, hi, Mel. Didn't see you there. Would you mind getting the door? Thanks. Off to save the church.
Ta-ta.
That same night, down in the church basement, a new group is gathering for their first meeting. Like most basements, it's a little dusty and dingy and poorly lit. Mel's daughter Shauna and her friend Kayla are the first ones there.
Are you sure this is the right place, Shauna?
Yeah, Kayla. I talked to the pastor about it, and she's actually pretty cool.
But a church? Really? What if the roof collapses on me?
Kayla, we're in the basement.
Okay, what if the floor collapses on me?
You worry too much. I grew up in the church. I went to Sunday school and everything. It feels familiar and weird at the same time.
What's this meeting for again? Dee, you told me, but I really wasn't listening, as usual.
At least you admit it. I never listen either, but you didn't hear it from me.
It's a group for LGBTQ people of faith and those exploring.
I guess a church might be a good place for that. I was raised Buddhist, though. Is that okay?
Of course. This group is for anyone wanting to explore their spirituality from an LGBTQ context.
Thanks. It is nice of the pastor and the church to let us meet here, though they did give us the basement. Nothing but the best for us.
The pastor said there are some people at this church who might be allies, supportive of people like us. She's just not sure how to broach the subject.
I'm not sure how my church friends would feel if I came out to them.
Wait a minute, Deb. You're out to us but closeted at your church? That must be so hard.
If they found out what a sinner I am, I'd be in trouble. I just have to remember which t-shirt to wear when I go.
So, Kayla, what's it like for gays in the Buddhist church? Is it hostile and condemning like a lot of Christian churches are?
It's kind of different, I think. On the positive side, there's nothing in the Buddhist teachings or writings against it.
That's good.
But a lot of people are very traditional. Different kinds of Buddhism picked up the cultural values from the country they were in, Japan, Korea, China, and so on. And those Asian cultures stress family and not wanting to bring shame on your parents and grandparents.
I guess it's the same for a lot of families who worry about how the older generations are going to react.
For me, my grandma was so accepting and cool. Of course, my Uncle Steve, he's a really conservative Christian. That was another matter.
Hey, it's time to get started. Let's get this room ready before too many regular church people come by and get freaked out.
Outside and out of mind. Church people, it seems they don't like our kind. Little bit snatched, little disheveled, little bit out of their comfort level. Driven underground, finding common bonds with the people we found. Living our reputation down. Won't stay down forever if we're driven underground. I see a Bible or a cross. My defenses go up and I quickly get lost.
Little upset, little bit angry. Wish they could see the person inside me.
Driven underground, finding common bonds with the people we found. Living our reputation down. Won't stay down forever if we're driven underground.
We're here. We're queer. We're here. We're queer. We're here. We're queer. We're here and we're queer.
Driven underground, finding common bonds with the people we found. Living our reputation down. Won't stay down forever if we're driven underground. Won't stay down forever if we're driven underground.
Back upstairs, Mel is still standing outside the doors.
I don't know what to think anymore. Behind one door is a committee that seems hell-bent on keeping gays out of the church. And behind another door is a group that are already in. At least kind of. And outside the door stands a man who may never know what to do. Oh, I should just go home.
Hey there, Belle. What brings you to church tonight?
Oh, hi, Pastor Laura. Actually, I was just leaving. Gotta go.
Why don't you stop in for just a minute and get caught up? It's been a while.
I guess I can stay for a minute or two.
That's good.
Well, I'm doing some heavy-duty thinking, and I felt like I should come here. And now that I'm here, I'm having trouble going through the door.
Well, my study has a side entrance and we could go in there without really going through the church. Would that help?
Look, I don't want to take up your time. I know how busy you are.
These are the kinds of things that keep me busy. It'll be fine.
Okay, only if it's not a bother.
Well, Mel, you've got that "my daughter just came out to me and I'm doing some heavy soul searching" look on your face. Am I right?
Yeah, that's it. Wait, how could you possibly know that? Did they teach you how to do that in seminary? No, wait a minute. Did she?
Called me this afternoon. Gave me a heads up. We talk. That's an amazing young lady that you and her mom raised.
Thanks. I'm just a little taken aback by all of this. I mean, how clueless was I to not see it coming?
It's not always obvious, especially for someone close. So, how are you doing now that you know you have a daughter who's lesbian?
There's that word again. I'm doing okay, surprisingly. As a father, there is nothing that could change the way I feel about my little girl.
I'm really happy to hear that. I hope I would feel the same way for my child.
Excuse me, Pastor, but there's some people I don't know down in the basement, and I was wondering...
Oh, those people are our guests. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry to interrupt. Hi, Mel.
Now, where were we?
What I'm wrestling with is how to respond as a Christian. Does being Christian mean that I'm anti-gay? If I follow the Bible, how can I be fully accepting of my daughter? Do I have to choose?
We hear lots of voices, some very loud, that would want us to believe that. And as Christians, we want to take what the Bible says very seriously.
Of course, but...
What we are really dealing with here is how to interpret the Bible. We need to see clearly what the Bible writers meant in their own time and then look at how to make it applicable to today.
Okay, I'm really sorry, but you're losing me a little.
Let me put it another way. We need to see the Bible in its original context, from the time of the Old Testament or the first century church. The concepts of human sexuality have greatly evolved since then, as have the roles of men and women, for instance.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Some churches really get stuck on that, too. My neighbor's church, for example, they would never have a woman pastor.
And we need to be informed by physicians, psychologists, and other social scientists to help us have a more modern conception of what it means to be sexual beings.
It sounds complicated. Some people make it sound so black and white, so simple to dismiss.
And the passages that get quoted are actually talking about what amounts to homosexual rape or prostitution. They don't address committed long-term same-sex relationships. There's a big difference.
But it's such a contentious issue.
And yet Jesus never talked about it.
Well, some people are pretty passionate about it.
At that committee meeting tonight, they're having a bit of a debate about homosexuality in the church. It all comes down to how people want to interpret those few Bible verses. The argument goes something like this.
Join in the concept proof text, out of context blues. Traditionally, as you will soon see, we take the word quite literally. The meaning is plain, it's hard to refute, until those theologians start playing it cute. They tear it all away, eroding the text. They blare from far away. I wonder what's next. Join in the concept proof text, out of context blues.
There's more than one way to read the Bible, more than one way to interpret the book. So have your own say in how it's all settled. Open the pages and take a look. Leviticus and Genesis is all well and good. Study them carefully, as anyone should.
But what about Paul, what he wrote to the Romans? Salvation through faith, or so he showed us. And there clear as day in New Testament pages, if you lie with the same sex, it's such a shame, yes. And ever since then, that's the way we've been taught. So unless Paul's written more, that's all that we've got. Join in the concept proof text, out of context blues.
Do you know what's going on in the city of Rome then? Emperor Caligula's reign was a wild one. Stretching that rebuke from that one situation has sadly led to bias and discrimination. But hear the bigger theme, take the Bible off the shelf. Love the Lord your God and your neighbor as yourself. Out of concept, proof text, out of context blues. There's more than one way to read the Bible, more than one way to interpret that book. So have your own say on how it's all settled. Open the pages and take a look. Open the pages and take a look.
In the end, it seems like both sides are more concerned about being right than anything else.
Unfortunately, that's often true. I struggle with this whole area as a pastor. How do I minister to people who have vastly different views on this topic? How can I continue to serve in a church that officially condemns something that I've come to see is a normal aspect of humanity?
Wait, pastors have struggles too? I'm sorry, go on.
Let me encourage you to have the courage to keep wrestling with this. Change doesn't happen all at once, but the church should be a place where you can walk through the door and be welcomed to wrestle in the context of Christian community.
Thank you, Pastor. I really appreciate your time.
Remember that you're not locked into one interpretation. You can change your thinking as you go forward.
That helps a lot.
And when you're ready, our church can really use some people to stand up in leadership to help us through this process of becoming the church God would have us be.
Well, I'll do some thinking about that. Is that okay?
Of course. Remember, my door is always open. Figuratively, of course.
As the next day dawns, people are gathering at the doors of the church. Someone has tagged them with the ugly phrase, "Perverts, go here." Stan is the first to speak.
We've been vandalized. I'm calling the police. No, wait. I can't have people knowing about this. It's an embarrassment.
It's a hate crime. Maybe we're not really welcome here after all.
I can't imagine who would want to do something like this.
It's not even true, Pastor Laura. Our church is against gay people. We don't have any of those people here.
Are you sure, Stan? Do you really know? Ugh, the trustees will want us to take pictures of the damage, and we are calling the police.
What does this church stand for, after all? The people and the graffiti?
Maybe a better question is, what people do we stand with?
Hey, I've got a bucket and some scrub brushes. Let's get this off our door.
Best thing I've heard so far.
Sometimes people are so hard to love, and they might even be the people right next door.
Right next door, huh? That reminds me of the story of the Good Samaritan. Remember? Jesus talked about loving those unlikely neighbors, the ones we might not expect.
From the youngest to the old, turned out of the fold, left out in the cold, you are my neighbor. I stand with you, God help me be there for you. How can I see you through? I stand with you. The people on my street, the ones I never greet, but I really ought to meet. Who is my neighbor?
The homeless and the poor, waiting by my door. How
see you through? I stand with you. God help me there for you. How can I see you through? I stand with you. I stand with you.
Wait a minute, Pastor Laura. You can't seriously be saying that we should stand with those weirdos, those gay and lesbian people.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Stan. These are people who need what the church has to offer. Look at Mel's daughter, Shauna.
What about her?
Wasn't she in your Sunday school class when she was younger? When she was baptized and when she was confirmed, didn't you promise with everyone else that we would care for her in the faith as she grew up? Shouldn't our church be a place where people like Shauna can come to find God?
Maybe. But look at all those other people. They've already started redecorating our basement. What's next? It's just what I was afraid of.
Stan, I understand your fears, and we will make sure that everyone gets heard as we move forward in the process. You're not the only one with misgivings.
You know that I love this church, but what you're asking for is a big change.
I know, Stan. And change is hard for people and for churches. But sometimes being faithful to God requires us to change our thinking.
Why do we have to be the ones doing all the changing anyway? This is all going much too fast.
I assure you that we will approach this change deliberately, making sure that everyone is treated graciously and with respect.
Hey, Stan!
Oh, hi, Val. Who's this?
I wanted you to meet Dave. He was just telling me about his extensive collection of Disneyland pins.
Wait, I collect Disneyland pins too.
Oh, you should see my limited edition Donald Duck monorail pin. Only 1,000 of them made.
Great. I'd like to look at that sometime. Let's talk about this later, Pastor.
Hey, Pastor Laura, can I ask you a question? This is my friend Dee. She came to our group meeting in the basement.
Hi, Dee. I'm really happy to meet you. What's on your mind?
I'm glad your church is starting to open its doors to people like us. It means a lot.
Thanks, but go on.
Well, it's about love. You see, my partner, Jenny, and I, we're really happy together, and we're thinking about sharing that with people. Maybe even get married.
That's wonderful. I'm so glad for you.
But some church people I know say marriage should only be between a man and a woman. You know, God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
I really don't like that line.
I'm kind of wondering the same thing. I mean, I haven't found the right woman yet, but I'd like to get married someday. Maybe I'll even have my dad walk me down the aisle.
The God I serve is the author of love in all its shades and colors.
That's not what I hear some people saying.
Here's how I've come to see things. Bottom line, God created us with a capacity to love and with a deep need for companionship. We've learned that can take different shades depending on our gender and sexual orientation.
But what about the Genesis creation story? What about Adam and Eve?
Think about it. How we were created in God's image, male and female. That means our gender identities are part of God's creation. Now that we have a better understanding of what that means, I take it to mean that all our varied gender identities were part of God's wonderful creation.
And then it says that God looked at creation and called it good.
Pretty amazing, right? Who we are and our need for relationship with others is another part of God's wonderful creation. you folks hungry? Theological reflection always stirs up my appetite.
As a matter of fact, I am feeling a bit hungry.
Oh, we have the stuff we were going to use at the end of our meeting.
I guess we have the coffee and fig Newtons from the board meeting.
And I have a secret stash of chips, dips, and a vegetable tray that I keep on hand just for potluck emergencies.
That's great. Eating together is a great way to see each other more clearly. There's a loaf of French bread, and I have a bottle of grape juice stashed for occasions like this.
Wait a minute. Is this a simple meal together, or are you sneaking in a communion service?
Is there a difference? I mean, really?
Communion is a holy meal where Jesus is especially present.
And so is a dinner with friends. They're both sacred events.
I am looking forward to sharing the Lord's Supper for the first time since I've come out.
Gather around, everyone. Take some bread and dip it in the juice. Then help yourself to the other dishes. So we begin the careful, prayer-filled, grace-filled process of becoming a reconciling congregation.
And we invite everyone to be part of the process.
Especially if you're not sure about all this.
Fathers can join with daughters.
And daughters with fathers.
Family, friends, allies, joining together to share in God's love.
Sometimes doors that were closed can become open, but it can take an awful long time.
As we seek to become the church Jesus would want us to be, all of us can come through open doors.
Come through open doors, loved by open hearts, join with open minds, welcome as you are, to the streets and byways,
Love by open hearts, join with open minds. Welcome as you are. Welcome as you are. Welcome as you are. Doors Open, the podcast, was recorded June 23, 2024, at Wesley United Methodist Church in the Japantown neighborhood of San Jose, California. The volunteer cast includes Dave Land, Renee Singh, Jeffrey Oldham, Barbara Hura, Michelle Singh, Denise Singh, Ashley Cook, Shizuko Adachi, Ron Ogi, Jim Marr, Beverly Acuna, and Mark Teagle. For more information about Doors Open, contact playwright Mark Teagle, MarkTeagle, at WESLEYSJ.net.